Chapter 21, War in Patala. The battlefield of Patala Loch stretched vast and desolate, a jagged plain scarred by molten rivers and shadowed by towering obsidian peaks. At its heart stood Bahubali, Magadha Naresh, alone against the demon Kindajura's 15 Akshohini Sena, a roiling sea of Asuras clad in spiked armor, their eyes glowing with malice. Above, in the ethereal skies of the netherworld, the Devas watched from their celestial vantage, their divine forms shimmering, their faces a mix of awe and anticipation. Bahubali, armed with his divine bow Jaidansua, gifted by Mahadev, stood resolute, his kavak glinting under Patala's dim, blood-red light, his heart anchored by the blessings of Shiva and Parvati. The Asura army charged, their war cries a deafening roar, shaking the cavernous realm. Vritrikna, Kindajura's Senopti, led the vanguard from a spiked chariot, his mace raised, his voice mocking. "Foolish mortal! You, a lone man, dare face Kindajura's might? Our 15 Akshohini will grind your bones to dust. Charge, my warriors, tear this fool apart and offer his heart to our lord." The Asuras surged forward, a tidal wave of spears, tridents, and dark astras, their laughter echoing as they closed in. Bahubali, unyielding, raised a Jaidansua, its golden string humming with divine energy. Closing his eyes briefly, he invoked, "O Mahadev, O Mata Parvati, guide your disciples' arrows, let Dharma's light pierce this darkness. For Patala's liberation, I fight." His eyes snapped open, blazing with resolve, and he drew his bow, his movements a blur, too swift for even the Deva's keen sight to follow. From the heavens, Indra leaned forward, his chair gripped tightly, his voice filled with wonder. "Devas, behold! Bahubali's hands move like lightning I cannot see when he knocks or releases his arrows. It's as if a Jaidansua sings of its own will, a storm born of Mahadev's grace. This mortal wields power that humbles even us." 1. Agni's flames flared, his voice crackling with excitement. "His arrows fall like my sacred fires, relentless, consuming. Look, brothers, the Asuras falter under his onslaught. Mahadev chose well. Bahubali is no mere king, but a force of Dharma incarnate." Vayu's wind swirled, his tone reverent. "The air of Patala carries the whistle of his arrows, a symphony of destruction. I feel their speed, their precision, as if my own gales guide them. Kindajura's army faces a tempest none can withstand. Varuna, his waters calm, spoke softly. Each arrow is a river of justice, flowing true to its mark. Bahubali's heart is pure, his purpose divine. Patala's salvation rests in his hands, and I see no shadow of doubt in him." Bahubali's bow sang, a relentless hymn of war. Arrows rained from a Jaidansua, each shaft glowing with divine light, piercing Asura armor like paper. He loosed volleys and arcs, felling dozens with every draw, their bodies collapsing in heaps, their dark blood pooling on the stone. The Asura's front lines crumbled, spearmen and swordsmen struck down before they could raise their weapons. Bahubali moved with fluid grace, sidestepping tridents, deflecting dark astras with arrows that split them midair. His quiver, blessed by Mata Parvati, never emptied, its arrows infinite as his resolve. Vritrikna roared, urging his troops, "Cowards! He's one man. Swarm him, drown him in our numbers." Chariots thundered forward, their spiked wheels churning the earth, while Asura archers loosed black-shafted arrows, their tips dripping with venom. Bahubali countered with the Vayvastra, summoning a gale that scattered the enemy's arrows, sending them spiraling into their own ranks. He targeted the chariots, arrows piercing drivers' hearts, toppling war machines in fiery crashes. The Asura's laughter turned to screams as Bahubali's onslaught continued, his figure a solitary beacon amidst the chaos, drenched in their dark blood, his kavak stained but unbroken. An Asura captain, wielding a massive axe, charged, bellowing, "Die, mortal king! Your arrows can't save you from my blade." Bahubali spun, loosing a single arrow that pierced the captain's throat, dropping him instantly. Another wave of Asuras rushed him, their maces raised, but Bahubali invoked the Agniastra, his arrows igniting into flames, incinerating the attackers in a blazing inferno. The battlefield became a graveyard, Asura bodies piling high, their blood flowing like rivers, soaking Bahubali's armor, his face, his hands, yet he fought on, unyielding, his bow a blur of divine wrath. Kindajura, watching from his obsidian throne atop a distant peak, slammed his fist, his voice a thunderous snarl. "Vritrikna, you fool! Why does one mortal decimate my Sena? Summon the Rakshak Vyaha, trap him in our unbreakable formation. I'll not let this Bahubali mock my power. Vritrikna obeyed, rallying the army into the Rakshak Vyaha, a labyrinthine formation of interlocking ranks, shields forming a moving fortress, archers and sorcerers at its core. The Asuras chanted, their dark mantras summoning illusions, shadowy duplicates of themselves, weaving through the ranks, confusing the eye. From above, Indra frowned, his voice tense. Kindajura's sorcery rises. This Vyaha and its illusions could overwhelm even a divine warrior. Can Bahubali break it? Bahubali, undaunted, scanned the formation, his senses honed by Mahadev's training. He loosed the Prakash Astra, arrows of blinding light that dispelled the illusions, revealing the true Asuras. Targeting the Vyaha's weak points, he fired pinpoint shots, felling commanders, disrupting the formation's rhythm. The shields faltered, gaps opening, and Bahubali charged, a Jidansu singing, arrows carving paths through the enemy. He leapt onto a fallen chariot, gaining height, his volleys raining death, each shot claiming multiple foes. The Vyaha collapsed, Asuras fleeing, or falling, their morale shattered by the lone warrior's ferocity. Blood-soaked, Bahubali stood amidst the carnage, his breath steady, a Jidansu still humming. The surviving Asuras hesitated, their roars silenced, fear replacing their bravado. Vritrikna, his chariot battered, shouted, retreat. Regroup for our lord. But Bahubali loosed a final volley, arrows piercing Vritrikna's armor, toppling him lifeless from his chariot, sending the remnants scattering. From the skies, Agni's voice boomed, incredible. Bahubali fights like Rudra himself, his arrows a dance of destruction. Kindajura's Sena crumbles before him, and we've not yet seen his full might. Vayu added, his courage is boundless, his skill divine. Patela's freedom is near, brothers. Mahadev's disciple proves his worth beyond mortal limits. Indra, gripping his Vajra, smiled. Kindajura's end approaches. Bahubali's bow is Dharma's verdict, and no Asura can withstand it. Let us watch, Devas, as he carves Patela's salvation. The battle raged on, Bahubali's arrows unrelenting, the Asura army dwindling under his divine assault. Kindajura, his fury mounting, prepared to descend, his dark astras ready, unaware that Bahubali, drenched in the blood of his minions, was only beginning to unleash the full power of a Jidansu, guided by Mahadev and Mata Parvati's eternal grace. Chapter 22, Final Duel with Kindajura. The war in Patela Lock raged relentlessly for 3 days, the cavernous battlefield a tapestry of chaos and carnage. Bahubali, Magadha Naresh, stood as a solitary tempest, his divine bow a Jidansu unleashing a ceaseless storm of arrows upon Kindajura's 15 Akshohini Sena. The Asura army, once a roaring ocean of warriors, now lay decimated, their bodies piling into grotesque mounds across the scorched plain, their blood staining the obsidian earth. Drenched in their dark ichor, Bahubali fought without rest, his kavak was no more, his movements a blur of divine precision, each arrow from a Jidansu claiming lives with unerring aim. Above, the Devas Indra, Agni, Vayu, Varuna watched from Patela's ethereal skies, their voices a chorus of awe as 90% of the Asura forces fell to the lone mortal's might. On the third dawn, Kindajura, ensconced in his obsidian palace atop a jagged peak, could no longer ignore the devastation. His fiery eyes blazed with fury as he surveyed the wreckage of his army, his Senopti Vritrikna slain, and his once invincible Sena reduced to scattered remnants. Slamming his massive trident into the throne, he roared, enough. This mortal mocks my dominion. His arrows have bled my Sena dry, but I, Kindajura, blessed by Brahmadev boon, will end him myself. Clad in armor black as night, wielding a bow forged in Patela's deepest forges, he descended to the battlefield, his presence a shadow that chilled the air. The Asuras, seeing their lord, rallied with desperate roars, but Bahubali stood unshaken, his gaze meeting Kindajura's across the blood-soaked plain. The Demon King's voice thundered, shaking the cavern walls. Bahubali, you've carved a path of ruin through my army, a feat no mortal should dare. Your bow sings death, but I am no mere Asura, I am Kindajura, scourge of Patela, blessed by powers beyond your gods. I challenge you to single combat, bow against bow, to settle this war. Face me, or flee like a coward, and let Swarga weep for its champion. From the skies, Indra's voice rumbled with concern. Devas, Kindajura enters the fray himself. His dark astras and sorcery rival our own. Can even Bahubali, Mahadev's disciple, withstand such a foe in single combat? 2. Agni's flames flared, his tone resolute. Indra, trust in Mahadev's choice. Bahubali's heart is pure, his Ajidansa divine. Kindajara's pride will be his undoing watch, and see Dharma triumph. Bahubali raised Ajidansa, his voice calm yet resonant, carrying the weight of Dharma. Kindajara, tyrant of Patala, I accept your challenge. You've plagued this realm with terror, defying the order. I, Bahubali, stand for Patala's liberation. Let our bows decide your tyranny ends here. Come, face me, and let justice sing through my arrows. The battlefield cleared, Asuras retreating to form a wide ring, their chants fueling Kindajara's fury. The Devas leaned closer, their divine sight fixed on the duel. Bahubali and Kindajara faced off, their bows drawn, the air crackling with their intent. The duel began, arrows flying like meteors, each shot a clash of mortal and demonic might. For 5 days, the combat raged without pause, a spectacle of skill and endurance that awed even the heavens. Kindajara's arrows, imbued with dark sorcery, screamed through the air, trailing shadows that sought to bind Bahubali's soul. He loosed the Nagastra, serpentine shafts hissing toward Bahubali, but the Magadha countered with the Garudastra, arrows summoning illusory eagles that devoured the snakes mid-flight. Kindajara invoked the Tamasastra, plunging the battlefield into darkness, but Bahubali's Prakashastra pierced the gloom, its radiant arrows restoring light and striking the demon's armor, drawing black blood. Bahubali's Ajidansa sang, its golden string a blur, his arrows relentless. He targeted Kindajara's weak points, piercing gaps in his armor, grazing his limbs, yet the demon's boons rendered him near invincible, his wounds healing swiftly. Kindajara laughed, his voice a guttural taunt. Foolish mortal! My boons shield me from death. Your arrows sting, but they'll never fell me. Swarga's champion tires, while I grow stronger. Yield, Bahubali, and I'll spare you as my slave. Bahubali's eyes blazed, his voice steady, unyielding. Kindajara, your boons are but chains of pride, binding you to your doom. I fight not for glory, but for Dharma, guided by Mahadev's trident and Mata Parvati's grace. Your laughter betrays your fear, each arrow I loose weakens your spirit. Stand and fight, demon, for Patala's freedom is my vow. The duel intensified, Kindajara summoning illusions dozens of himself, each firing arrows, their forms shimmering. Bahubali, recalling his training, closed his eyes, trusting Mahadev's insight, and loosed arrows guided by instinct, dispelling the phantoms and striking the true Kindajara, who roared in pain. The demon retaliated with the Rakshasa Astra, conjuring spectral warriors, but Bahubali's Himagna Astra encased them in ice, shattering them with a single shot. By the 5th day, both warriors were bloodied, and Kindajara's armor splintered. The Devas watched, breathless, as the duel reached its climax. Bahubali, sensing the moment, drew upon his ultimate weapon, taught by Mahadev himself. Raising his hands, he chanted, O Pashupati, Lord of beasts and souls, lend me your divine wrath. Let the Pashupadastra end this tyranny, for Patala's sake. A blinding light erupted, an arrow of cosmic energy forming in his grasp, its power shaking the battlefield. Kindajara's eyes widened, fear flickering for the first time. Bahubali's voice was iron, his gaze unyielding. Your time is ended, Kindajara. The Pashupadastra is Dharma's verdict, not mine. Face your fate, and may your soul find peace in Mahadev's judgment. He loosed the Astra, a blazing comet that tore through Patala's air, striking Kindajara's chest. The demon screamed, his form disintegrating in a burst of light, his dark boons unraveling as the Astra consumed him, leaving only ash scattered on the wind. The battlefield fell silent, the surviving Asuras dropping their weapons, their will broken. From the skies, Indra's voice boomed, victory. Bahubali has slain Kindajara. Patala is free, and Dharma reigns. Hail Mahadev's disciple, savior of the worlds. Agni's flames roared, his voice exultant. Bahubali's devotion has wrought a miracle. Kindajara's reign is dust, and Swarga owes this king its gratitude. Varana's waters calmed, his tone reverent. His heart is a temple of Dharma, his arrows its prayers. Patala's rivers will sing his name, as will we, for eternity. Bahubali, blood-soaked and weary, knelt, offering pranam to Mahadev and Mata Parvati. O Shiva, O Parvati, your will is done. Patala is free, and I am but your servant. Rising, he faced the cowed Asuras, his voice gentle yet firm. Go, warriors of Patala. Live in peace, serve Dharma, and let this war's scars heal. Kandasura's tyranny is no more. Build a new Patala, under Mahadev's light. The Asuras bowed, retreating, their hearts stirred by his mercy. The Devas descended, their forms radiant, offering blessings. Chapter 23, Aftermath. As the last of Kandasura's Asura army retreated, their roars fading into Patala Lok's shadowed caverns, the battlefield fell into an eerie silence, broken only by the crackle of dying fires and the gurgle of blood-soaked streams. Bahubali stood alone amidst the carnage, his body drenched in the dark ichor of the slain Asuras. Ajidan Su, his divine bow, rested in his hand, its golden string still humming with the echo of war. The Devas Indra, Agni, Vayu, Varuna watched from the skies, their hearts swelling with reverence for the mortal who had felled a demon king and his 15 Akshohini Sena. Before Bahubali could take a step, a radiant light descended, the air trembling with cosmic energy. Mahadev himself appeared, his form resplendent, matted locks adorned with the Ganga, his trident gleaming, a serene smile on his lips. Bahubali's eyes widened, his heart overwhelmed, and he fell to his knees, touching Mahadev's feet with trembling hands. Pranam, Mahadev, my guru, my guide. Your disciple has fought for Dharma, for Patala's liberation, as you willed. I am but dust before your feet. Forgive any flaws in my service. Mahadev's voice was gentle yet commanding. Arise, Bahubali, my beloved disciple. Your valor has pleased me, your heart's purity a beacon in Patala's darkness. Stand, for you've honored Dharma and my trust. As Bahubali rose, Mahadev's gaze fell on his blood-soaked form, the Asura ichor clinging to his armor and skin. With a tender smile, Lord Shiva placed his hands on Bahubali's shoulders, patting his arms, chest, and back, his touch igniting a divine spark. The blood of these Asuras, shed by your righteous arrows, has marked you, Bahubali. From this moment, your body is Vajra, unbreakable as thunder, forged anew by their sacrifice and my grace. No mortal weapon shall pierce you, no force shatter you. Go forth, my son, and continue your path of Dharma. Bahubali bowed deeply, tears of gratitude in his eyes, his voice thick with devotion. O Mahadev, your blessing is more than I deserve. This Vajra body, this life, is yours to command. I vow to serve your will, to uplift the downtrodden, and to wield Dharma as my shield, as you and Mata Parvati have taught me. Thank you, my lord, for seeing your disciple through this trial. Mahadev's smile widened, and with a nod, he vanished, his light merging with Patala's skies. The Devas descended, their forms radiant, surrounding Bahubali with divine warmth. Indra stepped forward, his Vajra gleaming, his voice regal yet warm. Bahubali, Magadha Naresh, you've saved Patala and honored Mahadev's command. Swarga stands in awe of your deeds, slaying Kandasura, shattering his army. Name any boon, and we, the Devas, shall grant it. Bahubali clasped his hands, his tone humble. Pranam, Devraj Indra, revered Agni, Vayu, Varuna, and all Devas. I seek no boon but your blessings, to continue serving Dharma as Mahadev wills. Your presence here is reward enough. Guide me, elders, that I may never stray from this path. Indra's eyes softened, his voice filled with admiration. Your humility rivals your might, Bahubali. Yet, a boon you shall have, not for yourself, but for your legacy. I decree that your son, yet to be born, will be a great warrior, continuing your work of Dharma, uplifting Aryavarth as you have. His name will shine as brightly as yours, a Kshatriya of unmatched valor and wisdom. So be it. Varuna, his waters form shimmering, gestured, and a magnificent chariot appeared, its frame white with golden filigree, pulled by 6 majestic white horses, their manes flowing like starlight. Bahubali, this is Rashmi, a divine chariot creation of Lord Vishvakarma, swift as the tides, unbreakable in battle. May it carry you through your wars and quests. Accept it, and let it serve your Dharma. Agni, Vayu, and the others followed, each presenting a weapon infused with divine energy. Agni offered a fiery sword, its blade pulsing with heat. This sword, Agnikanda, burns through armor and illusion alike. Vayu gifted a mace, its head carved with storm clouds. This mace, Vayuvahara, strikes with the force of a hurricane. Another deity bestowed an axe, its edge glowing with starlight, and another a spear, its tip crackling with cosmic energy. Each weapon sang of power, crafted for a warrior worthy of Mahadev's trust. Bahubali bowed to each, his voice steady. I accept these gifts, revered Devas, not for glory, but to wield them in Dharma's service. Rashmi, Agnikanda, Vayavahara, and these sacred arms, they'll protect my people and honor your faith. My heart bows to you, elders of Swarga, for this boundless grace. The Devas, their faces glowing, offered final blessings and vanished, their light fading into Patela's restored skies. Alone, Bahubali surveyed the battlefield, his heart heavy. The ground was a sea of blood, Asura bodies strewn across the plain, their lifeless forms a stark reminder of war's toll. These souls fought as warriors, bound by their lord's will, he murmured. Dharma demands I honor their end, as I would my own kin. With solemn resolve, he began preparing final rites, gathering wood, cleansing the earth, and arranging pyres for each fallen Asura. For 21 days, he toiled without rest, his Vajra body tireless, cremating every warrior, chanting mantras to guide their souls to peace, his hands stained with ash and blood, his heart anchored by compassion. 1. On the 21st day, as the final pyre blazed, a figure approached Asura Guru Shukrakarya, his white robes radiant, his eyes ageless, bearing the wisdom of a Mahadev devotee. Bahubali, seeing him, offered Pranipat, his smile warm. Pranipat, revered Guru Shukrakarya, master of the Asuras, great Bhakta of Mahadev. Your presence honors this battlefield, sanctified by Dharma's triumph and these warriors' sacrifice. Shukrakarya's gaze softened, his voice rich with respect. Pranipat, Bahubali, Magadha Naresh, slayer of Kindasura. I watched your battle from its dawn, your arrows a symphony of divine wrath, yet your heart never strayed from Dharma. I saw you cremate my Asura kin, granting them rights as if they were your own, a compassion rare even among gods. You recognized me, a guru of demons, yet greet me as a devotee of Mahadev. Your valor and righteousness impress me, Putra. Ask any boon, and I, Shukrakarya, vow to grant it, for your deeds have earned my trust. 1. Bahubali's eyes shone, his tone humble yet earnest. Revered Guru, your words are a treasure I scarcely deserve. I know you as Mahadev's devotee, whose wisdom guides even the Asuras to truth. I seek one favor, not for myself, but for my legacy. In the future, I will send my son to you, yet unborn, to learn at your feet. Teach him all you know: war, wisdom, dharma, statecraft, that he may be an able king and warrior, serving Aryavarth as I strive to do. This is my heart's request, Guru, for his path to uphold Mahadev's light. 2. Shukrakarya smiled, his voice warm but cryptic. Your request is granted, Bahubali. I'll accept your son as my Shishya, teaching him all I possess, forging him into a king and warrior worthy of your name. But heed this, do not tell him of my promise, for I will test him, as I test all who seek my knowledge. His trials will shape him, as yours have shaped you. Go with my blessing, Putra, and may Mahadev guide your return to Magadha. Bahubali bowed deeply, his voice filled with gratitude. Guru Shukrakarya. Your promise is a boon beyond measure. I'll honor your condition, trusting my son's trials to your wisdom. My heart thanks you, and I vow to continue serving Dharma, as you serve Mahadev. May our paths cross again in his light. Shukrakarya nodded, vanishing into a shimmer of light. Bahubali, his task complete, turned to Rashmi, the divine chariot gleaming, its white horses pawing the earth. He climbed aboard, willing Rashmi to ascend. The chariot soared, swift as thought, carrying him from Patela's bloodied plains to Baloka's sunlit skies. As Magadha's borders came into view, Bahubali's heart lifted, ready to reunite with his people, his Vajra body and divine gifts a testament to his triumph, his soul ever anchored by Mahadev and Mata Parvati's grace. Chapter 24, Time passes. In the aftermath of the devastating fire that consumed their palace in Varanavat, the Pandavas Yudhishthira, Bhima, Arjuna, Nakula, Sahadeva, and their mother, Kunti, fled into the shadows, their hearts gripped by suspicion. They believed Duryodhana, fueled by envy over Yudhishthira's coronation as Yavraj, had orchestrated the blaze to erase them, unaware that he was blameless, the fire a tragic mishap cloaked in whispers of treachery. To buy time and plan their return, they chose to vanish, letting the Kauravas think them dead. Disguising themselves as Brahmins, they shed their royal garb for saffron robes, concealing their weapons and embracing a life of austerity. This exile, born of necessity, became a forge for their brotherhood, tempering their resolve through shared trials. Their wanderings led them to a dense forest, its trees casting long shadows, the air alive with the hum of wild creatures. There, they encountered Hidimba, a towering Rakshasa with eyes like embers and claws sharp as swords. Spotting the intruders, Hidimba's voice boomed, shaking the foliage. "Mortals in my forest? Brahmins or kings, your blood will feed my hunger. Step forward, or I'll hunt you all." Yudhishthira, ever composed, raised his hands in peace, his voice calm despite their humble guise. "Pranipat, mighty lord of this realm. We're simple Brahmins, seeking only safe passage through your forest. We bear no ill will grant us leave, and our prayers will honor your strength." Hidimba laughed, his fangs glinting in the dim light. "Prayers? I crave flesh, not chance. You, the giant among you, face me, or I'll tear your kin apart." He pointed at Bhima, whose broad frame betrayed his power even in ascetic robes. Bhima stepped forward, his eyes blazing, his voice a deep rumble. "Rakshasa, you dare threaten my brothers, my mother? I will crush your pride. Come, let this forest bear witness to whose might prevails." 2. The battle erupted, a clash that shook the earth. Hidimba lunged, his claws slashing, but Bhima dodged, his fists hammering the Rakshasa's chest with thunderous force. Trees splintered as Hidimba hurled Bhima against them, but Bhima roared, seizing a fallen trunk and smashing it across Hidimba's head. The Rakshasa conjured illusions, his form multiplying, but Bhima's instincts, sharpened by Dronacharya's training, pierced the deception. Grappling Hidimba, Bhima lifted him overhead, snapping his spine with a bone-shattering heave, the demon collapsing lifeless. Hidimba, watching from the shadows, gazed at Bhima, her heart stirred by his valor. Approaching, she bowed, her voice trembling but earnest. "Pranipat, noble ones. My brother sought your lives, but you've shown strength beyond mortals. I am Hidimba, and I seek no vengeance. This warrior's might has captured my heart. I wish to be his wife, to honor his courage and share my life with him." 1. With Yudhishthira's consent, Bhima and Hidimba wed in a simple forest rite, sealed under the stars with Kunti's prayers to Mahadev. In time, Hidimba bore a son, Gatotkaca, a mighty child blending his father's strength and his mother's Rakshasa powers. Leaving Gatotkaca with Hidimba, promising to return, the Pandavas continued their journey. Their path led to Ekachakra, a quiet town nestled in verdant hills, where they settled, still as Brahmins, living in a modest hut and begging alms. The townsfolk welcomed the ascetics, moved by Yudhishthira's wisdom and Kunti's grace. One evening, as they shared a sparse meal, they heard a neighbor's sobs. Arjuna approached, his voice gentle. "Good woman, why do you weep? We're humble Brahmins, but if our words or prayers can ease your pain, share your burden." The woman, her voice breaking, spoke of Bakasura, a monstrous Rakshasa terrorizing Ekachakra. "Bakasura demands a human and a cart of food daily, or he'll destroy us all. Tomorrow, my son is chosen. How can I bear this?" Bhima's jaw tightened, his voice resolute. "Fear not, sister. I'll face this Bakasura and end his tyranny. No innocent will die while we're here." Yudhishthira nodded. "Go, Bhima, but stay discreet. Our guys must hold." Bhima, disguised as a Brahmin, went to Bakasura's cave, carrying the tribute cart. The Rakshasa, massive and grotesque, laughed. "A frail Brahmin? You'll barely sate me. Come, meet your end." Bhima dropped the robes, his voice a growl. "Bakasura, your terror ends today. Face Virkodara, and taste justice." The battle was fierce, Bakasura's claws rending stone, but Bhima's fists shattered the demon's ribs, his final blow crushing Bakasura's skull. Ekachakra was freed, the townsfolk hailing the Brahmins, unaware of their true identities, as the Pandavas' fame spread in whispers. 1. In Hastinapur, Duryodhana, now crowned Yuvraj after the presumed demise of the Pandavas in the Varanavat fire, ruled with a vigor inspired by his friend Bahubali's reforms in Magadha. Determined to win the hearts of his people and prove his worth beyond the shadow of his rivalry with the Pandavas, he set about transforming the city. He ordered the construction of orphanages to shelter abandoned children, food banks to feed the hungry, and schools open to all castes, where he and his brothers taught reading, mathematics, and the Vedas, breaking barriers of birth. Granaries with advanced storage preserved food from spoilage, and homes rose for the homeless, their thatched roofs a symbol of Duryodhana's newfound commitment to Dharma. The people of Hastinapur, once wary of his ambition, began to cheer his name, their trust kindled by his deeds. One morning, as Duryodhana inspected a new school, a messenger arrived, bearing a sealed scroll from Kalinga. He bowed, his voice clear. Pranipat, Yuvraj Duryodhana. King Chitrangada of Kalinga invites you to the Svayamvara of his daughter, Princess Bhanumti, renowned for her beauty and wisdom. Princes from across Aryavrat will compete for her hand. Duryodhana's eyes gleamed, his voice firm. Kalinga's princess? This is an opportunity to strengthen Hastinapur's alliances. Prepare my chariot, and inform my brothers. I will ride for Kalinga day after tomorrow. Meanwhile, in Magadha, Bahubali, fresh from his triumph in Patala Lok, received the same invitation during a court session. The messenger, adorned in Kalinga's colors, spoke, Pranipat, Magadha Naresh Bahubali. King Chitrangada invites you to Princess Bhanumti's Svayamvara, where your valor and wisdom are eagerly awaited. Bahubali smiled, his tone humble. Pranipat, noble messenger. I honor Kalinga's invitation. I'll attend, not for ambition, but to respect their call. 2. In Anga, Karna, read the scroll, his voice resolute. Bhanumti's Svayamvara? Prepare my chariot for Kalinga. 1. Days later, the three friends Duryodhana, Bahubali, and Karna converged on the road to Kalinga, their chariots rolling across Aryavrat's plains. Duryodhana, in Hastinapur's golden armor, greeted them warmly. Pranipat, Mitras. Bahubali, Karna, your presence makes this journey brighter. Hastinapur thrives, inspired by your reforms, schools, homes, granaries. I owe you much, Magadha Naresh. Bahubali clasped his arm, his voice warm. Pranipat, Mitra Duryodhana. The people's love is your true crown. Never forget that, Mitra. Karna nodded, his kavake glinting. Pranipat Mitra. Anga follows Magadha's path, and now Hastinapur does too. May Mahadev guide us. The trio journeyed to Kalinga's capital, its palace adorned with banners and flowers for the Svayamvara. Princes from across Aryavrat gathered, their eyes on Princess Bhanumti, whose beauty and wisdom were the talk of the land. As they entered the grand hall, the stage was set for a contest that would test not just skill, but the bonds of friendship and dharma among the three warriors. Chapter 25, The Svayamvara of Bhanumti. The grand hall of Kalinga's palace shimmered with opulence, its marble pillars draped in silks and garlands, the air fragrant with sandalwood and jasmine. Kings and princes from across Aryavrat filled the vast chamber, their armor gleaming, their eyes alight with ambition for the hand of Princess Bhanumti, renowned for her beauty and wisdom. Duryodhana sat with Bahubali and Karna, and Angaraj. The hall buzzed with anticipation as Prince Shurtayuda, Bhanumti's brother, stepped forward, his voice commanding silence. Pranipat, noble kings and princes of Aryavrat, Shurtayuda announced. My sister, Princess Bhanumti, will choose her husband today. She will ask each of you a question, and if your answer pleases her, she will garland you. Respect her choice, as Kalinga honors Dharma. The assembly nodded, murmurs of agreement rippling through the crowd. As the curtains parted, Bhanumti entered, her sari shimmering like moonlight, her grace captivating every gaze. Duryodhana's breath caught, his eyes fixed on her, unblinking, his heart ensnared. Bahubali, noticing, nudged him, his voice teasing. Mitra, it seems Princess Bhanumti has captured your heart already. Your eyes betray you. Duryodhana blushed, looking away, his voice flustered. Bahu, it's nothing like that. She's striking, but I'm here for alliance, not romance. Karna, at Bahubali's other side, grinned, his tone playful. Oh, Duryodhana, your face says otherwise. Mesmerized like a deer before a flame, admit it, Mitra, she's stolen your senses. Duryodhana spluttered, his cheeks reddening further. Karna, you too? Enough, both of you. Let's focus on the Svayamvara. 1. The Svayamvara began, Bhanumti moving gracefully among the suitors, her voice clear as she asked each, what will I gain in this marriage? Kings boasted of riches, palaces, armies, and jewels, their answers dripping with extravagance. Shishupala of Chedai promised, a palace of gold, filled with treasures. Jayadratha of Sindhu offered, an army to conquer Aryavrat for you. Yet Bhanumti's expression remained neutral, her heart unmoved. When she reached Duryodhana, she paused, her eyes meeting his. Yuvraj Duryodhana, what will I gain in this marriage? Duryodhana, his voice steady but fervent, spoke from his heart. Princess, I offer you my heart, wholly and forever. I vow to never marry another, to cherish and protect you as my equal, through joy and strife. Hastinapur's throne is yours, but my love is my truest gift. 1. The sincerity in his eyes, the depth in his voice, stirred Bhanumti. With a gentle smile, she lifted the garland and placed it around his neck, her choice declared. The hall erupted in murmurs, some cheering, others bristling with envy. Bahubali clapped Duryodhana's shoulder, his voice warm. Well done, Mitra. Your heart won where riches failed. Congratulations. Karna grinned, his tone proud. Duryodhana. Bhanumti chose wisely a true Kshatriya's heart. But the harmony shattered as a group of kings, led by Shishupala, stepped forward, their faces dark with resentment. Shishupala sneered, this is an outrage. A Kaurava over us? We'll take the bride by force, as Kshatriya tradition allows. Swords were drawn, and 100 kings advanced, intent on seizing Bhanumti. Bahubali and Karna stepped before Duryodhana and Bhanumti, their stance unyielding. Bahubali's voice boomed, laced with authority. Halt, kings and princes of Aryavrat. It's unbecoming of warriors to force a woman who has chosen her husband. Bhanumti's garland is her will, respect it, or shame your Kshatriya code. A king from Avanti scoffed, what do you know of Kshatriya honor, Sutaputra? You're Magadha's upstart, not our equal. Shishupala spat, I despise when lowborns preach. You're no better than that trickster Angula. Step aside, or face our blades. Other princes echoed, it's tradition. A Svayamvara allows the strong to claim the bride. Stand down, Magadha Naresh. Bahubali's eyes blazed, his voice cutting like a blade. Your arrogance blinds you. Tradition doesn't justify adharma. This marriage will happen, and I'll see who dares stop it. If you crave battle, I'm Duryodhana's champion. Face me, and test your pride against me. The hall tensed, swords glinting, as Bahubali, Karna, and Duryodhana stood ready to defend Bhanumti's choice. The kings, enraged, retreated to prepare, vowing a fight before the wedding. Bahubali and Karna left to ready themselves, while Kalinga's court buzzed with tension. At dawn, the battlefield outside Kalinga's capital teemed with spectators, royals, maids, servants, and commoners drawn by the commotion. They learned of the king's defiance and were dismayed, siding with Bhanumti's choice. Bahubali and Karna stood alone on Rashmi in a golden chariot, wielding a Jidansu and Vijaya, their quivers inexhaustible. Facing them were over 100 kings, including mighty Maharathis Burisravas, Rukmai, Shishupal, Shailya, Kichik, yet the duo showed no fear, their faces resolute. Kalinga Naresh, standing with Duryodhana, asked, Yuvraj Suyudhana, won't you aid Magadha Naresh and Angaraj? They face 100 warriors, including Burisravas, Rukmai, Shishupal, Shailya, and Kichik. 4. Duryodhana laughed heartily. Maharaj, there's no need. My mitras are more than enough. Kalinga Naresh frowned. Their valor is legendary, but these are Maharathis, famed across Aryavrat. Are you certain? Duryodhana nodded, his voice confident. They chose to represent me, and I trust them fully. Watch, Maharaj, they'll prove their might. A conch shell blared, signaling the battle's start. Bahubali and Karna loosed arrows with lightning speed, their bows twang filling hearts with dread, each shot flashing like thunder. The opposing kings fired back, but the duo's arrows overwhelmed them, felling dozens in moments. Spectators gasped as the pair fought like lions among sheep, their chariots unscathed, their bodies untouched. Within a prahar, the 100 kings dwindled to a few Maharathis, the ground littered with broken weapons. Burisravas, bloodied but impressed, lowered his bow. Lions among men, your valor humbles me. I withdraw and offer friendship. Rukmai and Shishupal followed, bowing. We accept defeat and extend our hands in alliance. Bahubali and Karna nodded, accepting their retreat. Only Shailya and Kichik remained, their egos unyielding. Shailya, seething over his nephew's deaths, which he wrongly blamed on Duryodhana, roared, I'll never let a murderer wed happily. Kichik, lusting for Bhanumti, snarled, she's mine. Both grabbed maces, leaping from their chariots. Bahubali and Karna, wielding Vayavahara and another divine mace, dismounted. The duel was fierce, maces clashing like thunder, but the duo's skill prevailed. Bahubali's blows shattered Shailya's defenses, while Karna's crushed Kichik's resolve, leaving both defeated but alive. The spectators, awestruck, cheered. Kalinga's royals marveled at the duo's might, while Duryodhana, beside Bhanumti, boasted proudly, "See, my Mitras are unmatched." Bhanumti laughed at his boyish excitement, blushing at his flirtatious remarks, seeing his deep admiration for his friends. Bahubali and Karna joined Duryodhana, who clasped their shoulders. "Mitras, you've secured my happiness." "Thank you." The marriage ceremony began. Bhanumti and Duryodhana wed under Kalinga's sacred rites. King Chitrangada offered Bahubali and Karna guest quarters for the night, which they accepted, retiring as the stars rose, their bond with Duryodhana stronger than ever, Dharma's light guiding their path. Chapter 26, A Royal Welcome in Hastinapur. The news of Duryodhana's marriage to Princess Bhanumti of Kalinga raced ahead of the couple, reaching Hastinapur like wildfire. The city buzzed with excitement, the tidings a balm to the lingering sorrow over the presumed loss of the Pandavas and Kunti in the Varanavat fire. In the royal Sava, the announcement stirred varied emotions. Dhritarashtra, Gandhari, the Kauravas, and Dushala rejoiced, the news a cool breeze in the heat of their grief. "My son, married to Kalinga's jewel!" Dhritarashtra exclaimed, his blind eyes bright with pride. "This union strengthens Hastinapur, a light in our dark days." Gandhari, clasping her hands, murmured, "Dhanyavad, Mahadev, for blessing my Suyudhana. Guide him and Bhanumti, keep them on Dharma's path." Dushala clapped, her voice joyful, "Jayeshtas found his match. Bhanumti must be as radiant as he says." The Kauravas Dushasna, Vikarna, Yayutsu, and others grinned, Dushasna saying, "Biya's victory in Kalinga shows his strength. We'll welcome our Babhai with pride." Yet, not all shared their joy. Elders like Bhishma, Vijara, and Kripacharya wore strained smiles, their minds elsewhere. Though aware the Pandavas lived, hidden in exile, they kept silent, convinced the Kauravas had plotted the Varanavat fire, a suspicion unfounded but heavy. Vijara's eyes narrowed, his voice low to Bhishma, "Suyudhana's reforms schools for all castes, homes for the poor anger the nobles. If he continues, the upper class may turn against him, and Hastinapur could falter." Bhishma nodded, his tone grim. His heart follows Magadha Naresh's path, but his haste risks division. This marriage may strengthen alliances, but the nobles' discontent grows. Dhritarashtra, breaking their murmurs, called the spy forward. "Speak, messenger. Tell the Sava of the Svayamvara." The spy bowed, his voice clear. "Pranipat, Maharaj. Princess Bhanumti chose Yuvraj Suyudhana for his vow to give her his heart and never marry another. When rival kings tried to seize her, Magadha Naresh Bahubali and Angaraj Karna fought as his champions, defeating 100 warriors, including Maharathis like Buris Ravas, Rukmai, Shishupal, Shalya, and Kichik. Their bows rained arrows like lightning, humbling all. The Sava gasped, Dhritarashtra beaming. Bahubali and Karna, such allies. Hastinapur is blessed to have their support. Gandhari whispered thanks to Mahadev, while Dushala and the Kauravas cheered, "Jai Suyudhana! Jai Magadha! Jai Anga!" But some elders, like Kripacharya, frowned, muttering, "Such power in Bahubali and Karna unsettles the balance. Suyudhana's reliance on them may weaken his own standing." Hastinapur prepared a grand welcome, decorating the city with marigold garlands and silk banners from its borders to the palace. After 2 days' journey, Duryodhana and Bhanumti arrived in a golden chariot, citizens showering them with flowers. Though the nobles grumbled, the common folk, touched by Duryodhana's reforms, cheered, "Jai Yuvraj! Jai Bhanumti!" The couple smiled, waving, their hearts warmed by the love. At the palace gates, the royal family gathered for traditional rites. Gandhari, veiled, held a silver arti thali, circling a lit lamp before the couple, chanting, "May Lakshmi bless your union with prosperity." Dushala sprinkled rice and turmeric over their heads, saying, "May your bond be unbreakable, blessed by Gauri." Kunthi's absence weighed on some, but the rituals continued. Bhishma and Vijara stepped forward, applying tilak on their foreheads. Bhishma's voice was formal, "Welcome, Bhanumti, to Hastinapur. May Dharma guide you." Vijara added, "May your union strengthen our house," though his eyes held restraint. A priestess performed the Grihapravsh, placing a copper kalash filled with rice at the threshold. "Step forward, daughter," she said. Bhanumti, guided by Gandhari, gently kicked the kalash with her right foot, spilling rice as a sign of abundance. Duryodhana followed, his right foot first, as the priestess chanted, "Enter as couple, bound by dharma." Rose water was sprinkled over them, purifying their entry, while conch shells sounded, heralding their union. Dhritarashtra blessed them, his voice warm. "Kalyanho Putri, Bhanumti. You bring joy to our house." Bhishma and Vijara offered blessings, though their eyes held restraint, their doubts unspoken. Bhanumti, overwhelmed, smiled shyly as the Kaurava brothers 99 in all lined up to touch her feet. "Babhai, your blessings will guide us," Dushasana said, grinning. She blessed them, her voice soft, "Kalyanho." Struggling to recall their names, she whispered to Dushala, "So many brothers. I'll learn them all, I promise." Dushala laughed, linking arms. "Don't worry, Babhai, I'll help you. You're our sister now." Gandhari guided her inside, saying, "Rest, my child. More ceremonies await, but you're home." Duryodhana, stopped by his brothers, chuckled as they teased, "Jyeshta, your bride's beauty outshines the sun." He replied, "Wait till you know her heart, it's her true strength." Ignoring the elders' cool gazes, he focused on his family's joy, ready to meet Bhanumti again after the rites, their bond sealed by love and dharma. Chapter 27, The Svayamvara of Panchal. A year had passed since Duryodhana's grand wedding to Bhanumti, a union that strengthened Hastinapur's alliances and brought joy to its people. In Anga, Karna had married Vrishali, his childhood companion, who cared for his parents during his arduous training at Mahendragiri Parvat. Her unwavering loyalty and gentle spirit won his heart, their marriage a quiet celebration of love rooted in shared history. In Magadha, Bahubali's parents, joined by Karna and Duryodhana, pressed him to marry, insisting a king needed a queen to complete his duties. Bahubali, ever devoted to his kingdom's welfare, promised to consider their counsel, though his heart remained fixed on Magadha's transformation. The royal Sava in Magadha thrived, a testament to Bahubali's vision since he vanquished Jarasandha. Village panchayats and town councils resolved local disputes, ensuring only the most pressing matters reached the king's court. Karna mirrored this system in Anga, appointing trusted officials and deploying spies to root out corruption. Each day, Bahubali, alongside his confidant Sahadeva and like-minded advisors, pored over reports, determined to keep their realms free of deceit. Public schools flourished, teaching children of all castes, self-defense classes empowered the people, and lectures by learned saints, though not all accepted the invitation, sparked intellectual growth. "We're reshaping a stagnant society," Bahubali told Sahadeva, his voice steady with resolve. "It's a slow path, but Dharma lights the way." As the Sava neared its close, a soldier interrupted, announcing, "Maharaj, a messenger from southern Panchal seeks audience." Bahubali sighed. He knew of Drupad's twins, Agnisut and Agnisudha, now a year old, and the impending Svayamvara of Princess Draupadi, a figure woven into Dwapar Yuga's most controversial tales. Stories abounded. Some claimed Karna competed and was insulted for his caste, others that he merely observed. The truth was muddled by folklore, but Bahubali's interest lay elsewhere, to behold Lord Vishnu's avatar, Krishna. "Let the messenger speak," Bahubali commanded. 2. The messenger entered, bowing deeply. "Pranipat, Magadha Naresh Bahubali, esteemed Sava members. I bear an invitation from King Drupad for the Svayamvara of Panchal Kumari Draupadi, born of fire, whose beauty rivals the heavens and wisdom humbles scholars. An archery contest will determine her husband, for Drupad seeks a peerless archer as his son-in-law." Bahubali's brow furrowed as the messenger lingered on Draupadi's allure. "Hold," he interjected, his voice firm but measured. "Cease this objectification. A woman is not a trophy to be paraded for alliances. Skip to the purpose. Why does Drupad summon us?" The messenger, flustered, continued, "Maharaj Drupad invites you to Kampilya's Svayamvara, where the victor of the archery contest will wed Draupadi, forging a bond with southern Panchal, a kingdom of great might despite its losses." The Sava buzzed, advisors urging acceptance. "An alliance with Panchal, our neighbor, would secure Magadha's borders," one said. Another added, "Drupad's power endures, such a tie strengthens us." Bahubali hesitated, his distaste for Drupad's ambitions clear, but he relented. "I'll go," he said. Days later, Bahubali's divine chariot Rashmi, drawn by 6 white horses, carried him to Kampilya, where he was warmly welcomed by Panchal's guards and escorted to the Svayamvara hall, its pillars adorned with gold and jasmine. His seat, deliberately placed between Karna and Duryodhana, suggested either their famed bond or Drupad's scheming. Duryodhana greeted him, his smile broad. Pranipat, Mitra Bahu. Bahubali narrows his eyes and asks, "What are you doing here? Does my sister Bhanumti know of your presence here?" Duryodhana, flustered, says, "I'm here only as Hastinapur's representative, to witness this spectacle, not to compete. Bhanumti is my heart's sole queen, and no other could sway me." Karna nodded with a smile. Pranipat, Mitra. Ashvathama, seated nearby as northern Panchal's king, joined them, chuckling. Pranipat, Mugadhnaresh. "I'm here for the show, since I have taken Brahmakarya. Drupad's ambition reeks, but this hall promises drama." The four laughed, their camaraderie alight in the tense air, until a resonant voice broke their chatter. A figure approached, dark-skinned and radiant, clad in a yellow dhoti and angavastram, a peacock feather crowning his head, his smile disarming yet profound. "Pranipat, Bharata Suyudhana, Yuvraj of Hastinapur," Krishna said, hands folded in greeting. 7. Duryodhana bowed, his voice warm. "Pranipat, Bharata Krishna, Dwarkadish. Your presence honors this gathering." Krishna greeted Ashvathama and Karna with a nod, then turned to Bahubali, who touched his feet. "Bless me, O Lord, that I may serve your will and uphold the path you've set for Aryavrat." Krishna lifted him gently, his voice like a melody. "Rise, Magadha Naresh. Mahadev's blessings already grace you, and your deeds reflect his light. Under your rule, Magadha has transformed into a beacon of change, a society where caste fades and justice rises. I'm deeply impressed by your kingship, Bahubali, and the ripples you've sent across Aryavrat's destiny." Bahubali bowed, his tone humble yet earnest. "Your praise humbles me, Dwarkadish, but it's Dvarka's example, your vision, that sparked this change. I merely strive to restore society to its true dharma, where merit, not birth, defines worth." Karna and Anga and Suyudhana and Hastinapur follow this path, though Suyudhana faces resistance from Hastinapur's elders, bound by tradition. "Yet we press on, inspired by your light." Duryodhana nodded, his voice resolute. "Indeed, Dwarkadish. As Yuvraj, I've pushed for schools, homes, and fairness for all, but Bhishma and Vijaya curb my reforms, citing tradition. When I'm king, Hastinapur will rival Magadha's glory, with every citizen uplifted, as Bahu and Karna have done." Krishna's smile deepened, his eyes twinkling with cryptic wisdom. "Well spoken, Suyudhana. Your heart seeks dharma, even if the path is fraught. Bahubali, continue your work, for your reforms reshape not just Magadha but the age itself. Stay true to dharma, and know that Vishnu's grace walks with you." Bahubali, sensing the weight of Krishna's words, nodded deeply. "I'm grateful, Dwarkadish, for your guidance and blessing. I'll honor this path, with Mahadev and your light to guide me. My heart bows to you." The friends settled, their bond fortified, as the Svayamvara loomed, its outcome poised to ripple through Aryavrat's intricate web of fate, with Krishna's enigmatic gaze watching the unfolding drama. Chapter 28, The Svayamvara. The grand hall of Kampilya's palace shimmered with anticipation, its golden pillars draped in silk and jasmine, as princes and kings from across Aryavrat gathered for the Svayamvara of Panchal Kumari Draupadi. The air buzzed with the clink of armor and murmurs of ambition. Yuvraj Drishtadhyumna, Drupad's fire-born son, stepped forward, his voice resonant yet courteous. "Pranipat, noble kings, princes, and esteemed guests. I am deeply grateful that you've honored our invitation with your presence. The Svayamvara will commence after 1 prahar. Until then, please accept Panchal's hospitality. Our maids will attend to your needs, and guides will show you the palace if you wish to explore." He gestured, and maids in flowing saris moved through the crowd, offering refreshments, while guards stood ready to lead tours. The assembly nodded, some exchanging eager glances, others sizing up rivals. Bahubali, seated between Karna and Duryodhana, exchanged a quiet smile with his friends, their bond a calm anchor in the tense hall. Ashvathama, nearby, leaned in, muttering, "Drupad's hospitality hides his schemes, but this promises a spectacle." After a prahar, King Drupad entered with Drishtadhyumna, both resplendent in royal silks, their presence commanding. Drupad raised his hands, his voice warm but calculated. "Pranipat, noble guests. Today, my daughter Draupadi, born of sacred fire, will choose her husband through an archery contest." A bow, crafted by divine hands, awaits. Lift it, string it, and shoot an arrow through a revolving fish's eye, seeing only its reflection in water below. The victor wins her hand in Panchal's alliance. As he spoke, Draupadi entered, her wheatish skin glowing, her silk sari shimmering like a celestial stream. Her ethereal beauty, rivaling Apsara's, drew gasps. Most suitors stared with admiration, lust, or ambition, but Bahubali, Karna, Duryodhana, and Ashvathama remained composed, their focus elsewhere. From the audience, the Pandavas, disguised as Brahmins, watched, their blood boiling at Duryodhana's presence as Yuvraj, convinced he orchestrated the Varanavat fire. Seeing Bahubali and Karna beside him, they assumed their complicity, their anger flaring, only to soften at Draupadi's radiance. Arjuna, especially, felt a pang. Had he not been in exile, he could have claimed her, but as a Brahmin, he was bound to watch. The contest began, Drishtadyumna announcing each participant with flourish. Kings and princes stepped forward, but none could lift the divine bow, its weight defying their strength. Drupad, watching from a high platform beside Draupadi and Krishna, grew anxious, his voice low. Dwarkadish, no one can even lift the bow. I designed this for Arjuna, believing him alive, but now the Svayamvara falters. What have you wrought with this task? Krishna's smile was serene, his eyes twinkling. Maharaj, the bow tests not just strength but purity of heart. Doubt or pride renders it immovable. Only a warrior of true skill and dharma can succeed. Patience, someone here is worthy. Drupad, agitated, pressed, but who, Dwarkadish? If not Arjuna, who can fulfill this? Draupadi, curious, leaned forward. Seka, please, reveal who could conquer this task. My heart seeks to know. Krishna chuckled, his voice gentle. My dear Saki, I cannot deny you. For in this generation could triumph, Kante Arjuna, myself, Angaraj Karna, and Magadha Naresh Bahubali. The bow will yield to one pure of purpose. Drupad's face fell. Sutaputras? I invited Karna and Bahubali for their prowess, but my fire-born daughter wed to lowborns. I sought Arjuna to defy Drona, or you, Dwarkadish, to bind Dvarka. My spies failed to find the Pandavas. Arjuna's loss is my despair. Krishna's smile widened. Trust, Maharaj. The Svayamvara will succeed my word. The Pandavas, hidden among the crowd, seethed. Duryodhana's presence fueled their belief in his treachery, and Bahubali and Karna's alliance with him stung like betrayal. Yet Draupadi's beauty captivated them, a nectar they could not taste. Arjuna, knowing he could win, burned with frustration. Exile barred him from competing. He hoped Karna and Bahubali would fail, a petty solace for his humiliation at the Kala Pradarshan, though part of him wished the contest would open to all, letting him, even as a Brahmin, claim victory. The contest continued, suitors failing one by one. Drishtadyumna called Duryodhana, who stood, his voice clear. I abstain, Maharaj Drupad. Archery isn't my strength, and my heart belongs to my wife, Bhanumti. I'm here to represent Hastinapur, and thank you for your invitation. Drupad nodded, unimpressed. Drishtadyumna called Ashvathama, who rose, saying, I withdraw, Maharaj. I follow Brahmacharya and cannot marry, even if I succeed. Drupad snapped, his voice sharp, it seems Drona failed to teach you courage, Ashvathama, or you'd not shy from my challenge. Ashvathama's eyes flashed, but he replied coolly, Maharaj, my training is not your concern. I abstain for my vow, not for lack of skill. Mock my guru again, and you'll see what I've learned. Drupad sneered, your withdrawal proves teachers today are waning. Drona's legacy is weak. His words ignited fury in Bahubali and Karna, their guru was more than a teacher for them. 3. Bahubali, who had planned to abstain, stirred with resolve. Another princess held his heart, but Drupad's insult demanded a response. When Drishtadyumna called, Magadha Naresh Bahubali, he stood, his presence commanding. Closing his eyes, he prayed for Mahadev in his mind, seeking his blessings, then gripped the divine bow. With effortless strength, he lifted it, drawing gasps from the hall. Draupadi clenched her fists, her face tense. Drupad's relief was palpable, fearing the contest might seem a farce. Duryodhana and Karna exchanged proud smiles, though the Pandavas seethed, Arjuna's envy flaring at Bahubali's prowess. Bahubali strung the bow with ease, its twang echoing, but paused, turning to Draupadi. Before he could speak, her voice rang out, sharp and clear. Stop. I will not marry a Sutta-putra. 2. The hall fell silent, shock rippling through the crowd. Bahubali's face turned cold, his eyes narrowing, the weight of her words a challenge to his honor and dharma. Chapter 29, The Swayamvara's Climax and Departure. The grand hall of Kampilya's palace was a cauldron of tension, its golden pillars and jasmine garlands overshadowed by the drama unfolding at Princess Draupadi's Swayamvara. Bahubali, Magadha Naresh, had just lifted the divine bow with ease, his skill silencing the crowd, only for Draupadi's sharp voice to cut through the air. Stop. I will not marry a Sutta-putra. The words struck like a thunderbolt, the hall falling into stunned silence. Bahubali's face turned cold, his eyes narrowing, but before he could respond, Duryodhana, Yuvraj of Hastinapur, leapt to his feet, his voice booming with indignation. Maharaj Drupad, what is happening here? Duryodhana demanded, his gaze blazing as he faced the Panchal king on his high platform. You invited Magadha Naresh Bahubali, a warrior whose valor humbles kings, to your Swayamvara, only to let your daughter insult him with such disdain? If Panchal had no intention of honoring him as a suitor, why summon him at all? This is not hospitality, it's a calculated slight, a mockery of his honor and ours. Explain this injustice, or Hastinapur will remember this affront. Karna, standing beside Bahubali, joined in, his voice sharp with restrained fury. Maharaj Drupad, I echo Suyudhana's words. If Panchal deems Sutta-putras unworthy, why extend invitations to both Magadhraj Bahubali and me? We came in good faith, honoring your call, yet your daughter's words spit on our dignity. If I step forward and lift this bow, will I face the same scorn? This is no Swayamvara, it's a stage for humiliation. You've disrespected warriors who've earned their place through deeds, not birth. Speak, Maharaj, or Anga too will reconsider its ties with Panchal. The hall buzzed with murmurs, some kings nodding in agreement, others shifting uncomfortably. Draupadi's face tightened, her fists clenched, while Drupad's expression wavered between defiance and unease. Bahubali, however, raised a hand, his smile calm yet firm, silencing his friends. Mitras, enough. I thank you for defending my honor, but let's not taint this day with anger. The bride has every right to choose her husband, as Dharma allows. Rajkumari Draupadi's words, though sharp, reflect her heart's truth. I harbor no grudge, she has spoken her will, and I respect it. 1. Duryodhana shook his head, his voice low but fierce. Bahu, you're too forgiving. This isn't just about her choice, it's about inviting you under false pretenses, only to cast you aside with an insult. Panchal's court should bow to your deeds, not scorn your birth. I won't stand for this disrespect to you. Karna's eyes flashed, his tone equally resolute. Bahu, Drupad knew of your prowess, yet allowed this public shame. If they reject us for our origins, let them say so openly before inviting us to their grand farce. Bahubali placed a hand on each of their shoulders, his voice steady, carrying the weight of his resolve. Suyudhana, Karna, your loyalty warms my heart, but anger clouds judgment. Rajkumari Draupadi's choice is hers, and I'll not force her heart. Let's not let pride turn this into a feud. We came for Dharma, not discord. Calm yourselves, and let's honor the sanctity of this hall, even if its hosts falter. Reluctantly, Duryodhana and Karna nodded, their fury subsiding under Bahubali's calm influence. Bahubali turned to Drupad, his voice clear and unwavering, addressing the king directly. Maharaj Drupad, I thank you for inviting me to Kampilya, for the honor of standing in your court. But your daughter has made her choice, and I respect it. However, this moment reveals a rift in trust. From this day, Magadha will halt trade relations with southern Panchal. Our paths diverge here, but I wish your kingdom prosperity. With your leave, I take my departure. The hall gasped, Drupad's face paling at the diplomatic blow. Before he could respond, Duryodhana stepped forward, his tone curt. Maharaj, Hastinapur also takes its leave. I came to honor your invitation, but this insult to my Mitra cannot be ignored. Farewell. Karna followed, his voice firm. Anga joins Magadha and Hastinapur. We depart, Maharaj, with no ill will, but no further ties. As the trio turned to leave, Krishna, seated beside Draupadi, gave a knowing smile, his eyes glinting with unspoken wisdom. Leaning toward Draupadi, he spoke softly, his voice laced with gentle rebuke. Sakhi, you've chosen your path, and that is your right. But to disrespect a warrior like Bahubali, whose deeds rival the gods, was unwise. His heart is pure, his strength divine, yet you judged him by birth, not merit. Reflect on this, Draupadi, for Dharma sees beyond titles. Draupadi's eyes flickered with doubt, but she held her silence, her resolve unshaken. In the audience, the Pandavas, disguised as Brahmins, stifled laughter, their hearts gleeful at Bahubali's rejection. See, Arjuna, Bhim whispered, our foes face their own humiliation. Let them taste defeat. Arjuna, his eyes burning, nodded. Karna and Bahubali's failure soothes my heart. That Sutaputra deserves this for the Kala Pradarshan. Yet, I wish I could compete. The Svayamvara continued, Drishtadhyumna calling the remaining kings. One by one, they failed to lift the divine bow, their pride crumbling. Drupad, now visibly anxious, turned to Krishna, his voice low. Dwarkadish, not one has lifted the bow. I crafted this for Arjuna, believing he lived, but this failure risks Panchal's honor. What now? The Svayamvara teeters on collapse. Krishna's smile remained serene, his tone calm. Maharaj, if no king can lift the bow, open the contest to all Brahmin, Kshatriya, or otherwise. A task this divine demands a worthy soul, and one is present. Let the Svayamvara proceed, and you'll see victory. Drupad, desperate, nodded. As you advise, Dwarkadish. He signaled Drishtadhyumna, who announced, by Maharaj Drupad's decree, the contest is open to all. Let any man attempt the bow. From the audience, Arjuna, disguised as a Brahmin, felt his heart race. Rising, he approached the stage, his saffron robes hiding his Kshatriya frame. With a silent prayer to Mahadev, he gripped the bow, lifting it effortlessly, drawing gasps. Stringing it with practiced ease, he shot an arrow through the revolving fish's eye, each hitting true. The hall erupted in cheers, Drupad's relief palpable. Draupadi, her eyes softening, placed the garland around the Brahmin's neck, accepting him as her husband. Outside the palace, Bahubali, Karna, and Duryodhana stood by Rashmi, Bahubali's divine chariot. Duryodhana, still seething, demanded, Bahu, why didn't you challenge Drupad's insult? You lifted the bow with ease. Draupadi's rejection was a calculated slight. You should have demanded answers, shown them Magadha's might. Bahubali smiled, his voice calm but insightful. Suyudhana, anger solves nothing. Draupadi's heart was set before the Svayamvara began. She chose her husband long ago, in spirit if not in deed. This contest was never about us. Drupad crafted it for Arjuna, believing him alive, to secure a warrior unmatched. I respect her choice, even if her words stung. Karna's eyes narrowed, his tone sharp. So it was a ruse to humiliate us? Drupad invited us knowing he'd reject Sutaputras, yet dangled the prize to mock our honor? Bahu, this reeks of Panchal's arrogance. Bahubali shook his head, his smile unwavering. Not quite, Karna. Drupad's ambition drove him to seek Arjuna. The test was designed for one of four in our age, Arjuna, Sri Krishna, you, or me. Krishna, calling Draupadi his Sakhi, abstained. Drupad shunned us for our birth, leaving Arjuna. My spies whispered the Pandavas live, hidden as Brahmins. When Drupad opens the contest to all, Arjuna will rise, disguised, and win. Mark my words, he's here, and he'll claim Draupadi. Duryodhana's eyes widened. So they are here. Bahubali nodded. Arjuna will win, and Panchal will have its alliance. Our path lies elsewhere. Karna, convinced, clasped Bahubali's shoulder. You see further than us, Mitra. Let's return to our kingdoms and continue our work. With a final glance at Kampilya's palace, the trio boarded their chariots and departed for Magadha, Anga, and Hastinapur, their bond unbroken, their resolve strengthened, as Dharma's intricate web wove on in Aryavrat. Chapter 30, Alliances and Proposals in Hastinapur. In the opulent chambers of Hastinapur's palace, Duryodhana sat with his uncle Shakuni and brothers Dushasana, Vikarna, Yayutsu, and others recounting the events of the Panchal Svayamvara. The flickering lamps cast long shadows as his voice, heavy with indignation, filled the room. Panchal's court insulted Magadha Naresh Bahubal in the most egregious manner. Draupadi refused him, calling him a Sutaputra after he lifted the bow with ease. They invited him only to humiliate him, and Karna and I walked out with him, severing ties with Drupad's kingdom. Magadha and Anga have halted trade with Panchal. Shakuni, his eyes glinting with cunning, stroked his beard, his voice smooth yet sharp. My dear Suyudhana, Panchal has committed a grave error, one that may cost them dearly. Bahubali, a warrior who felled Jarasandha single-handedly, is no mere king. He is a Maharathi, a force that reshapes Aryavrat with his reforms and might. To insult him publicly is to court disaster. Drupad's arrogance blinds him to the power he's spurned. Hastinapur must strengthen its bond with Magadha, for Bahubali's friendship is a shield stronger than any army. 2. Vikarna, thoughtful among the brothers, nodded, his voice measured but firm. I agree, Mama Shakuni. Bahubali's vision for Magadha schools for all, justice without caste, prosperity for the common folk has inspired our own reforms in Hastinapur. His strength and dharma make him a vital ally. But how do we deepen this bond? Our friendship is strong, but a formal alliance would bind our kingdoms closer. I propose we offer our sister Dishala's hand in marriage to Bahubali. Such a union would cement Magadha and Hastinapur as one, ensuring mutual strength against foes like Panchal. Dushasana clapped, his voice eager. Brilliant, Vikarna. Dishala and Bahubali a match of honor and power. Magadha's might, paired with Hastinapur's legacy, would make us unstoppable. Biya, you must propose this to Mata and Pitashri. Shakuni's smile widened, though his tone carried caution. A splendid idea, Vikarna, but we must tread carefully. The elders Bhishma, Vijara, Kripacharya already view your friendship with Bahubali with suspicion, fearing his influence over you, Suyudhana. They cling to tradition, wary of his reforms and his supposed low birth. If we propose Dishala's marriage openly, they'll resist, citing propriety or politics. But there's a way. Convince your mother, Gandhari, of the alliance's benefits. Her word carries weight with Dhritarashtra, and if she champions this, the king may sway, bypassing the elders' objections. Duryodhana's eyes lit up, his voice resolute. You're right, Mama. Mata respects Bahubali's deeds, his reforms, and his devotion to Mahadev. I'll speak to her, lay bare the insult at Panchal, and propose Dishala's marriage as a bond to secure Hastinapur's future. If Mata agrees, Pitashri will follow. This alliance will show Aryavrat that Hastinapur and Magadha stand united, untouchable by Drupad's schemes or any other. The brothers nodded, their resolve firm, and the meeting dispersed. Later, Duryodhana sought Gandhari in her private chambers, where she sat weaving a shawl, her veiled eyes turned toward him. Mata, Pranipat, he began, his tone earnest. I come from Panchal, where a great wrong was done. Draupadi insulted Bahubali, calling him a Sutaputra after he lifted their divine bow. They invited him only to scorn him, and Karna and I left with him, severing ties with Panchal. Bahu is our brother in spirit, a Maharathi who killed Jarasandha and freed Magadha. To strengthen our bond with Magadha, I propose we offer Dishala's hand to him. This marriage would bind our kingdoms, ensuring Hastinapur's strength against all foes. Gandhari's hands paused, her voice warm yet thoughtful. My son. Your words carry the weight of truth. Bahubali is a man of rare valor and dharma, blessed by Mahadev himself. The insult at Panchal was a grave misstep by Drupad, and it pains me to hear of it. Your proposal to unite Dishala with Bahubali is wise. A marriage to such a king would honor our daughter and fortify Hastinapur. I agree, Suyudhana. I'll speak to your father and convince him of this alliance's merit. Magadha's strength, paired with ours, will secure our future. Duryodhana bowed, his heart light. Thank you, Mata. Your support ensures this bond. I trust you to sway Pitashri, and Dishala will find a worthy husband in Bahu. In the courtroom, the meeting was going on as usual. A messenger burst into the palace, his voice urgent. Pranipat, Maharaj Dhritarashtra. The Pandava princes and Rajmata Kunthi live. Spies confirm they were at Panchal's Svayamvara, disguised as Brahmins. Arjuna won Draupadi's hand, completing the archery contest. The Sava erupted, Dhritarashtra's face brightening despite his blindness. My brother's sons live? Praise Mahadev. Vijara, go to Panchal at once, bring them to Hastinapur with all honors. They are Kuru princes, our blood, and must return home. Vijara bowed, his voice steady but cautious. As you command, Maharaj. I'll depart for Campilia to escort the Pandavas and their new bride. His eyes, however, flickered with concern, knowing the tensions their return would ignite. Gandhari, when she and Dhritarashtra were in their room. My lord, Our son's proposal merits your ear. Suyudhana spoke of Panchal's insult to Magadha Naresh Bahubali. To bind Hastinapur and Magadha, he suggests Dushala's marriage to Bahubali. This alliance would strengthen us. Bahubali's reforms mirror Suyudhana's, and his power ensures our security. I urge you to approve this union. Dhritarashtra, moved by her words and the news of the Pandavas, nodded. Your wisdom guides me. Bahubali is a worthy ally, his deeds unmatched. A marriage with Dushala would honor our daughter and fortify Hastinapur. I approve. Send a messenger to Magadha with a formal proposal, offering Dushala's hand to Bahubali, with our blessings for a union that will unite our kingdoms. A royal scroll was prepared, adorned with Hastinapur's seal, proposing the marriage and extolling Magadha's alliance. As the messenger departed for Magadha, Hastinapur buzzed with anticipation the Pandavas' return and a potential union with Bahubali poised to reshape the Kuru dynasty's future, while Duryodhana, hardened by his mother's support, awaited Bahubali's response, their brotherhood ready to forge an unbreakable bond.